turning our attention to the Olympic Games this Tuesday, which will be postponed for a year due to the coronavirus pandemic. The decision was announced by the International Olympic Committee president after sports leaders and medical experts insisted that the event be delayed. A number of countries, including Canada and Australia, had said that they would not send athletes to Japan in July. For more, I'd like to bring in Simon Harding from our sports desk. Simon, thanks so much for being with us. This doesn't really come as much of a surprise, does it? Because as I just mentioned, pressure was piling from both nations and athletes from across the globe.
No, it was very much an expected decision by the International Olympic Committee, Sanam. Not only because, as you mentioned in your introduction, major Olympic countries such as Canada and Australia had said they wouldn't be sending teams to the event. Great Britain were also weighed in on the argument, saying they wouldn't be sending a team late on Monday evening, but also because if you look at the whole of the sporting world and across the board, every other major international competition which has been programmed in the summer has been postponed. What has come as a little bit more of a surprise is the way in which this information came out and the speed at which it came out. Just a few days ago, Thomas Bach, the president of the IOC, said he was giving himself and his organisation 4 weeks to make the decision. The decision basically came just 48 hours later and it was leaked. So the IOC have faced a lot of criticism for not making it sooner because, of course, athletes for almost a month now have been unable to train properly, have been unable to prepare. Qualifying events to be held for the Olympic Games in Tokyo have been postponed, delayed or cancelled altogether, of course. So the reality was that the IOC had no choice in making this decision, even though they tried to give themselves as much time as possible to do it.
They did try to drag their feet, but that announcement came, and it's the first time in the Games' 124-year history that this is happening. How does this impact the world of sports, if it does in any way?
Well, again, it's a major blow, in particular, I would say, for Japan. Japan so far has spent $10 billion on making these games happen. And of course, a lot of the television contracts, a lot of the local contracts that they put in place, hotels, everything for the Japanese economy is going to take a massive hit. For the sports itself, the IOC have given themselves until summer of 2021 to hold the games. Despite that, the games will still be called Tokyo 2020, even if they take place in 2021, just as a symbolic gesture. But of course, for the Olympics, it's the kind of event, it's the most popular sporting event in the world, the oldest sporting event in the world, of course, and so people will still want to compete. But it does have ramifications in terms of organisations, in terms of calendar, because a lot of events are happening next summer as well, including the Euros, the Women's Euro. So football being an Olympic sport, how is that going to affect the calendar with, of course, then the national season starting or should be starting in August. And as you were saying, this is an unprecedented event. It's the biggest crisis the IOC have had to deal with in peacetime. The Olympics, as you said, has never been postponed. It has been cancelled altogether 3 times in 1916, 1940 and 1944 because of the 2 world wars. So for it to have such a massive impact against such an unpredictable situation, it is going to have repercussions. The extent of those we don't know yet because, of course, the IOC are going to have this period of time to re-establish it. As for the athletes, for those who are injured, for those who wouldn't have been able to compete it's obviously a blessing. For others who, of course, have been working for their peak, then it is going to be frustrating. But under the circumstances, again, impossible to do otherwise.
So you will keep a very close eye, I'm sure, Simon, on the ripple effects of the postponement of those games. Simon Harding, thank you so much from our sports desk.